Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hania Shazad. I am in 9th grade. It is my pleasure to be the moderator for the program today. If you could please turn off all your cell phones, thank you. First, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us in the wonderful program to celebrate the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have an exciting program of Quran, nasheeds, and stories by the children of ICCP, as well as inspired words from our two imams, inshallah. To begin the program, inshallah, we will have a student from the ICCP Sunday School, Mawlid Hindata, recite Surah Fatiha, followed by a beautiful Quran recitation by Qari Anas of ICCP.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, I will be reciting a few verses from Surah Al-Ahzab, inshallah, that talks about and that address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. ولما رأوا المؤمنون الأحزاب قالوا هذا ما وعدنا الله قالوا هذا ما وعدنا الله ورسوله وصدق الله ورسوله وما زادهم إلا إيمانا وتسليما. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا ليجزي الله الصادقين بصدقهم ويعذب المنافقين إن شاء أو يتوب عليهم إن الله كان غفورا رحيما إن الله كان غفورا رحيما ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور وكان بالمؤمنين رحيما تحيتهم يوم يلقونه سلام وأعد لهم أجرا كريما يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا وبشر المؤمنين بأن لهم من الله فضلا كبيرا ولا تطع الكافرين والمنافقين ودع آذاهم وتوكل على الله وكفى بالله وكيلا إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا يا أيها الذين آمنوا يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صدق الله مولانا العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Sister Maria and Brother Anas, for a beautiful recitation. Now please welcome our very own Imam Tariq Sharim.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Dear brothers, dear sisters, honored guests, dear children, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon your souls and hearts. This is an incredible occasion. Of all gatherings we can have in our lives, of all occasions, of all events, is there anything as close to being gathered by Allah Azza wa Jalla? It is He who brought all of us today. Then to be gathered by the hands of Allah and His rahmah to come and remember the beloved of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want you to just take that in and reflect on why we're here today and who brought us to remember Allah and remember our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What a gift from Allah. We're here today to remember, imagine, the most special creature of Allah, the most beloved, the one that Allah adores the most. He brought you and me to remember Him today. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. We're gathered as parents, what a blessing. Our children are present with us today in this beautiful home, ICCP. Today you're going to witness incredible things said about the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're blessed to have our children from the Sunday school here today. And may Allah bless the hearts and souls that work with them for weeks to prepare them for today. Because it is a night about the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our teachers, the administrators of the Sunday school, the parents who spent countless hours to just bring them to come to that moment of expressing their love for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a gift of Allah. And it's a miracle of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And I'm here to tell you, as one of yours, as a member of this community who loves it, that indeed the love of Allah and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is at the center of all of our programs. And it is the center of our Sunday school curriculum, activities and programs. We really want our children to come to love Allah and experience the love of Allah. And we want them to love and experience the love of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through his remembrance, through learning about his life, and ultimately coming back to share that love with the community. And believe me, through these experiences, their hearts will be softened, inshallah. I want you to support them, encourage them, look at them as they share that from their hearts. And inshallah, ask Allah Azza wa Jal that first and foremost, He sends His peace and prayers upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family, that He opens the children and their heart to love sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that's our mission on earth, to really indeed come together. Sit to listen to the reflections and stories and nasheeds as we gather here to send our salawat upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. As we do this, I wanted to keep in mind a few things. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah Himself praised him. Allah said, I and the angels praise Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh, you who believe, praise him. Oh, you who believe, send your peace and prayers upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a command of Allah. And indeed, the closest to Allah are those who send their peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who ask Allah to send His peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's also those who remember who Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Those of us who are sitting here today to remember, as we send our salawat on him, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's heart was not like any other heart. That indeed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was raised by Allah as an orphan. That he felt pain. He didn't grow up with a father or mother from even a young age. Can you imagine this? And it is his special heart that was so soft that when he saw an orphan, he would rub on his head. That he never hurt even an animal. That despite all of the difficulties he had to endure, he kept a smile on his face. That he prayed for the believers. That he was gentle with children. That he never looked down on anyone, never insulted anyone, never took out his emotions or anger on anyone. In fact, he was never angry with anyone, no matter what they said to him. This is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was so gentle, so strong that he was caring, so courageous that he was soft and never ever shy to even shed a tear out of his affection. His wife loved him and adored him. His children loved him and adored him. There's no father like him. There's no friend like him. There's no leader like him. There is no neighbor like him. No one is like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is he who said, whoever greets me, Allah will give me my soul back to greet him or her back. Can you think about this today? Can you reflect on this today as you send your salawat on him? That Allah is giving him his spirit back to think of you and me today, and to be happy with us, and to send his greetings back to us. Wow, what a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal. That is the Prophet of Allah that we need to remember today. And indeed, I conclude by this. He said, those closest to me are the ones who send salawat on me. And he also said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those closest to me are the best in their character. They're best in their hearts, and in their spirits, and in their presence on this earth, because we have to indeed become like him and walk in his footsteps. May Allah bless this community. May Allah send his peace and prayers upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah open all of our hearts and the hearts of these beautiful children that you'll hear from now, to loving Allah and loving Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Imam Saeed. Now we will listen to Quran recitation by the ICCP Sunday School students.
Is Leila back? Leila.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع ناديه سندع الزبانية كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you for the beautiful recitation. We will now enjoy a few traditional nasheed singing the praises of our Prophet, children of ICCP.
دائما أبدا ولا هادي فيك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على هادي فيك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من نور ومن أجل مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل هوى من الأحوال مختار مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
أنت بالوجدان حي أنت للعينين غي أنت عند الموت حي أنت هادي وشفيع يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك ينطوي بالحب قلبي ربي خير رسل ربي به أبصرت دربي يا شفيع يا رسول الله أيها المختار فينا زادنا الحب حنينا جئتنا بالخير دينا يا كتاب المرسلين يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك. Thank you for the beautiful nasheed. Now we will have the students of ICCP telling the story of our prophet. We will start with the beginners class team with teachers Aisha, Hasnia, and Shifna telling the story of Makkah, the birthplace of the prophet and site of pilgrimage, the Waqf and Talbin.
A long time ago, in a place called Mecca in Saudi Arabia, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was born. Mecca was special from the time of the Prophet Ibrahim because pilgrims came there to visit the Kaaba.
Thank you. Next we'll have Sister Nurham's class with a poem called Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's Childhood.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Farah Khan and I wrote a poem about Prophet Muhammad. The title is Muhammad's Childhood. What a great year was 570 AD. Born Muhammad, the greatest person to be. His father Abdullah died before his birth, leaving Muhammad, an orphan on the earth. Mother Amina died when Muhammad was 6. His world became very lonely, that needed a fix. Grandfather Abdul Muttalib took care of Muhammad, but only for 2 short years. Very sad, when Muhammad was 8, his grandfather too died. Abu Talib, his uncle, became his new guide. Ameen.
Thank you. Now we'll have Sister Marwa's class with the story of Medina, the hijrah of the Prophet, in the singing of Salah al-Badru alayna, and a reading of a poem by Fawzan.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aisha and I'm going to tell you a story. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam left his home in Makkah and migrated to Medina to protect the new Muslims and escape from his enemies. This journey was called Hijrah. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his dear friend Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu left quietly at night to travel 250 miles in the desert. Back in those days, they didn't have GPS and cell phones to help them. They hid in the cave of Tawaf and they heard of the enemies were looking for them. The people in Medina were so very happy to see them arrive safely. They sang in joy.
I, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was made from light. He was born in the night. He shined so bright that everyone woke up. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was so brave great guy of sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was so strong, he could never be wrong. So I wrote this song about him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was so kind, he had the best mind. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He taught us not to tell lies. His light filled the sky. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He always smiled. He cared for every child. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He gave money to the poor. When they asked, he gave more. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When he stepped on the ground, the grass would grow. From his fingers, water would drop. When he was a baby, he played with the moon. I want to visit him here. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
If all the kids could please be quiet, we will now have Sister Fatima in Aya's class with a poem called Our Beloved Prophet.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Kawala and I am Ayah's. Today I will be talking about our beloved Prophet Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Born in the year 570, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Allah's messenger. Gifted to us the shining light of Islam with no prophet successor. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a great Muslim leader. He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's noblest leader. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a great military commander, known for his candor. Never did he slander. Even people who did not believe him called him the trustworthy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him to be worthy. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married Khadija and freed all of her slaves. He was so kind one slave refused to leave. Overall, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made an impact in all of our lives, making it better. And what impacted me the most in a positive way was he helped me become a better Muslim through his kind acts.
Thank you. And now we'll have Sister Gada's class with an interactive about the names of the prophets.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Lukman here. We all know about many names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But did you know that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also had many names? Can somebody tell me how many names he had? Can somebody tell me how many names he had? Can somebody tell me how many names he had?
I'll tell you the correct answer.
He had about 118 names. Could somebody give me a few names of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
That is the correct answer.
Okay, I will tell you a few of his names. Dufadlin means one who possessed excellence. Mustafa means the chosen one. Amin means trustworthy. Adilun means just. Bushra means good things. Kaitun means helper. Hafizun means guardian. And Hakun means the truth.
Thank you. Now we will have Sister Damia's class with a poem called The Last Prophet by Nora and a reading by Jenna called The Simple Man.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Nora Khan, and I wrote a poem called The Last Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The last prophet is the founder of the great religion Islam. He was a true leader and was very calm. He had kindness and was never harsh or evil. He was good-minded and wouldn't listen to the devil. His father died before his birth. He was still joyful. He came to teach people on earth. He was also loyal. Listen to the teachings. They are all true. People loved Muhammad and followed, and so the Muslims too. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jenna. Today I want to tell you a story called Simple Man. Simple living and contentment were the key teaching in the Prophet. Despite his position as a leader, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ never behaved as if he was greater or better than other people. He never made people feel small, unwanted, or embarrassed. He urged his followers to live kindly and humbly, relieving slaves whenever they could and giving them charity, especially to very poor people, orphans, and prisoners without any thought of reward. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself was never greedy. He ate very little and only simple foods. He preferred never to fill his stomach. Sometimes for days on end, he would eat nothing but raw food. He slept on a very simple mattress on the floor and had almost nothing in the way of home comforts or decorations.
Thank you. Next we'll have Brother Miraj's class. Adam will read a hadith and there will be dhikr with drums.
Assalamu alaikum. In Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah says to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you except for mercy to all the worlds. All creatures in the heavens and on earth have benefited from the coming of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Muslims benefit from him especially. This benefit is constant during his lifetime and after his passing into the next life. He told us, "My life is a great good for you. You will relate about me and it will be related to you. And my death is a great good for you. Your actions will be exhibited to me. If I see goodness, I will praise Allah. If I see evil, I will ask Allah for forgiveness of him for you." Even now, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam loves us, makes dua.
Assalamu alaikum. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, "Renew your faith with La ilaha illallah." We invite you all today to renew your faith as you were once taught by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. Thank you. And now please welcome Imam Dr. Tariq Al-Ghawi to speak to us about the seerah of our beloved Rasulullah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. About 7-8 years ago, I was in Cairo, and my father had a day off, and there was a weekend coming. So he said, "Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we go to Medina for the weekend?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Do you have a visa?" I said, "I have a visa." He had a visa. That's a pretty good deal. But I had an ulterior motive. You see, if you are an Arab young man with an Arab father, you have one purpose in life and one purpose only. And that is to prove to your father at every possible step that you are not a screw-up. So I said, this is perfect. I'm going to gain this trip and I'm going to win this battle. For once and for all, I will prove to my father that I'm not a screw-up. So we get our things together. There's no planning. So we get everything together. We show up at the front door, about to go to the taxi. And he's like, "Where are your things?" I said, "This is my bag." So my bag was half the size of my father's bag. It's one for me, 0 for dad. And I have this little travel wallet. I keep all the currency in it from all the places I've been. So I have some Saudi riyals with me. So when we get to the airport, he wants something to drink. And I was like, "Oh, I'll get you a cup of tea, Dad." I got it for him. He didn't have, even though he got me the ticket. I was like, "Yeah, that's 2 for me, 0 for Dad." I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. We get to the hotel. There moments are left until Maghrib, the adhan of Maghrib. And we get up to the room, and my father is very Spartan when he travels, and he has this philosophy: you're not going to eat anything, so you don't use the bathroom. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do everything that my father says. I'll only eat what he eats. I won't buy anything. I'll do exactly, I'll imitate him, and I'll beat him at his game, and I'll prove once and for all that I'm not a failure. Mine is only 8 years ago. Okay? I'm married, I have kids and everything. It doesn't matter. You don't understand unless you're in my shoes. And then we get to the room, we hear the adhan, we're really excited, and I look in my bag and I realize that I have lost my passport. So I said, "Baba, you have my passport, right?" And he's like, "Aha, I knew something was going on." He's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Mumbling. I was like, my American passport, you have it, right? I gave it to you. I'm smiling. He's like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, Baba, I think I lost it." And then he gave me this look, which meant I knew you were a screw-up. So, very, very defeated. The adhan just came in, it's Maghrib. We run to the mosque. And inside, it's like fireworks. But outside, like, "Don't worry, Dad, no problem. I have no idea how I'm going to solve this problem." I said, "No problem." So we go to the mosque, we pray Maghrib. We finish the Maghrib prayer, and we do our ziyarah. And I'm there in front of the Prophet ﷺ. And I ask him, I said, "Please, I ask you by all of your names." The young man said there are 100. Actually, the ulama, Imam Asyuti and others, they said there are over 900 names for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I said, "Ya Rasulullah, I ask you by all of these names. Ya Allah, I ask you by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please let me find this passport so I can win this battle." We do our ziyarah, we go back, I hop into a cab, we go back to the airport. Of course, my father's with me. He has to put the salt in the wound Yeah, so he's with me the whole time, literally breathing down my neck. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna travel? How are you gonna travel? I was like, Baba, I don't know, maybe I have my Egyptian passport, maybe I can go back, or I can go to my aunt's house in Jeddah, and I don't know, go to the consulate, get a new, we'll figure it out. We get to the airport, and there's that line of cabs, and lo and behold, the first cab in that line is the cab driver that picked us up from the airport and took us to the hotel. So I go to the man, I said, you have it. The man thinks like I'm insane. He has no idea. He thought I was going to attack him. I was like, you just took me to the hotel before Maghrib. He's like, yeah. He's like, I misplaced my passport. He's like, well, let's look in the car. We open the car, and there it is in the back seat is my passport. And then I was so overcome with joy. I mean, I cannot describe for you, because I have an ulterior motive. My ulterior motive is simply to beat my father at this game, to show him once that I'm not a screw-up. I was so overcome with joy, I hugged and I kissed the cab driver. And the Saudis, they're not very emotive people. And I'm a very emotive person. So I hugged him and I kissed him, and he thought that was very strange, but he kind of understood. And then I looked at my father, and he looked at me, and what he really wanted to say is you might have won the battle, but you did not win the war. And the reason I mentioned this story, other than the fact that the backdrop of the story is it took place in Medina, is that at that moment, there was nothing that was more important than finding that passport. It was even though rationally I could have solved the problem, I could have found a way out. But at that moment, there was nothing I needed more in my life. It didn't matter how much money I had. It didn't matter what I had in my suitcase. It didn't matter who I was traveling with. It didn't really even matter that we were in Medina, other than the fact that I'm certain that it was my dua to the Prophet that allowed my passport to be found. But there was nothing that was more important for me to move on with my life than retrieving that passport. It would have been a real problem for me. And because, all joking aside, this dynamic with me and my father, this is real. I mean, you laugh, but it's a lot of pain. I mean, maybe I should seek therapy. But I needed to prove to him, for once, Baba, I'm not a screw-up. And of course, the word, I mean, I've done bad things, but this was probably top 5. What idiot forgets their passport? I'm the one that did that. And I realize that when it comes to moments like this, when we come to celebrate the Prophet ﷺ, how important it is that we hold on to him. But he's not lost from us the way my passport was lost. He is there. The ulama, they teach us that the Prophet ﷺ is hadir nadir. He is present and aware. You heard earlier that he hears our salams and he responds to our salams. He receives our good deeds, and he asks Allah to forgive our bad deeds, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's this beautiful verse in the Quran in which Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ إِذْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ جَاءُوكَ. If they wrong themselves, they will come to you, Muhammad. وَاسْتَغْفَرُوا اللَّهِ. And they seek tawbah from Allah. وَاسْتَغْفَرَ لَهُمُ الرَّسُولُ. And the Prophet will seek their tawbah as well. لَوَجَدُوا اللَّهَ تَوَّابًا رَحِيمًا. Indeed, they will find Allah most merciful, most forgiving. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the famous Sahabi, he was by the grave of the Prophet, peace be upon him, after the Prophet passed, alayhi salatu wasalam, and he saw a Bedouin come to the grave of the Prophet, and he recited this verse. He said, Ya Muhammad, I come to you because Allah told us in the Quran to come to you, and I seek tawbah from you. And then he recited this beautiful poetry. Ya khayra man dufinat bil qa'i a'dhumuhu fatada bitibihinna al-qa'u wal-ukumu nafsi al-fida'u li qabri anta sakinuhu fihi al-afafu wa fihi al-judu wal-karamu. He's praising the grave that holds the most blessed and most pure of bodies, of the most best of creation in all of the universe, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he kind of falls asleep, and the Prophet comes to him in his dream, and he says, Abu Musa, go find that man and tell him that Allah Ta'ala has forgiven him. And it is as that moment when I had needed that passport, and I turned to Allah by mentioning the Prophet's name, because I'm at the end of the day, I'm an Azhari, and that's what we learned at Al-Azhar. We learned at the Azhar that there are many schools in Islam, academically, but when it comes to issues of the heart, there's only one madhab. When it comes to issues of the heart, there's only one madhab. وَالنَّاسُ فِيمَا يَعْشَقُونَ مَذَاهِبٌ شَتَّى وَلَكِنْ حُبُّ طَهَ مَذْهَبِ. There are many madhabs that people have, but when it comes to my love, my madhab is the love of Taha sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So at that moment, I knew all of the stories about all of the ulama that had asked Allah by asking the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I knew that I would find a way. I didn't know it was going to be that way, but I knew that I would find a way out, and it happened. And then I extrapolated from that story, and I started to reflect how blessed we are that we have the example and the life of the Prophet ﷺ always within reach. We don't have to wait till we're lost, but we have his example now. His example lives in our community. This is an example. This gathering is an example of the gathering that the Sahaba had to remember and to praise the Prophet ﷺ and to thank Allah Ta'ala that he had been sent to them. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you except as a mercy to mankind. He is the one that taught us mercy, and he is the one that has taught us love, and he is the one that has taught us how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So his sunnah is not lost. This example is not lost. You don't have to wait till you're lost to find your way back. But rather, he is there, present, waiting for you to turn back to him so that he can guide you with that light. You know, the thing about the Prophet ﷺ, when we talk about his birth, the milad of the Prophet ﷺ is filled with this example of light. Amina alayhi salam, she said, as I was giving birth to the Prophet ﷺ, I saw a light that came out of me and lit all the way north to Syria. I could see the towns of Busra. That's how much light I could see from Mecca all the way north. A physical light. The Sahaba said when the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, it's like somebody turned on the lights. He illuminated the lights. That's why we call it Al-Medina Al-Munawwara, the illuminated city, because it's illuminated by the Prophet ﷺ. This is not just a nice thing to say, but he was actually a light. He was a light that guided his community, and he is a light that will continue to guide us. But all we have to do is reach out and grab that light. All we have to do is reach out and grab that guidance, and we will be guided from the darkness that we find ourselves in, from the things that we lost. I mean, that was just a little funny story, but seriously, think about all of the moments in your life where you are lost, or where you are in need, really, really in need, really, really questioning. You will find the Prophet ﷺ there to give you the answer. I have never been fooled by the Prophet, peace be upon him. Anytime I was stuck and I asked myself, what would the Prophet do? Is there an example in the Sunnah? Is there an example in the Seerah that I can hold on to? And I find it, and I say, you know, I'm going to do this because this is what the best of creation did. Every time, 10 out of 10, problem solved. Mission accomplished. No problem. Ease. And I have been through many trials and tribulations. I'm sure you have too. I mean, we're not here to share our misery, but we have been through trials and tribulations. And every trial and tribulation in which I remember the Prophet ﷺ, I have found in that ease. Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With each difficulty you get to ease. And there is no greater ease than the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So on this day, on this night, this month of Rabi al-Awwal, remember the gift that we have been given and the assistance that we get from following the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I hope that what I say resonates, because it's so hard to communicate these emotions sometimes are hard to communicate in words, but I hope what I say reaches you, and especially for our young people. I hope that you will see in the Messenger of Allah, as we heard in the beautiful verses, a perfect example. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. A perfect, beautiful example. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
Thank you, Imam Tariq. As we transition to the end of our program, we will have Kamar Ensemble sending salam on our beloved Prophet.
Is it possible for you to look for me? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will start with Ya Nabi Salam Alaikum just to warm up really quickly. This is a different melody for Ya Nabi Salam Alaikum, inshallah. Ya Nabi Salam Alaika, Ya Rasul Salam Alaika, Ya Habib Salam Alaika, Salawatullah Alaika, Ya Nabi Salam Alaika, Ya Rasul Salam عليك يا حبيبي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيبي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيبي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيبي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. So now that was to warm us up and to stretch our feet a little bit, inshallah. So let's sit down and let's recite a few nasheeds together. And we will start with number 7 for those who have folders. For those who do not have folders, please share with your friends, inshallah.
By the time you are opening your folder, I'm going to say one by one. كل القلوب إلى الحبيب تميل كل القلوب إلى الحبيب تميل ومعي بذلك شاهد ودليل أما الدليل إذا ذكرت محمدا صارت دموع العاشقين تسيل هذا رسول الله هذا رسول الله هذا المصطفى هذا برب العالمين خليل الماجد مدد الله الماجد 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 مدد الله الله الماجد
اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام. اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام. أنا عبد ربي له قدرة يهون بها كل أمر عسير، فإن كنت عبدا ضعيفا فربي على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام. اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام. مني أشعل وأنا عبد مملوك ولا أشياء مقضية ما في التحقيق شكور ربي نظر فيا وأنا نظر متروك في الأرحم والأعشى من نطفة صورني اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام 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 حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام
Yeah, please return the photos because we have to go to another Mawlid again, so we don't have a lot. Yeah, I always think hundreds and hundreds, they go. I know you love the nasheed, mashallah, but if you need it, you can go to Alcohol and stuff, so you will see the nasheed. You can see us performing and you can be prepared next time, inshallah. You can have a very nice gathering and everybody will say salawat together, inshallah.
Thank you. Finally, in our program, we will have closing remarks and a dua by our Imam Tarif Sharif.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, be quiet, inshallah, for the concluded moments. Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Past hour was a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. And we're left with so much to reflect on. And I'm just full of gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal. And I ask Allah that He makes all of our hearts grateful to Him for gathering us tonight to remember the beloved. And to witness our children, subhanAllah, coming to show all that love for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because all we hope for as parents, as a community, as a masjid, is for these young hearts to walk in the love of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their lives. And imagine, as Brother Tariq was mentioning, if they were able to summon now Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they face those situations in life. I want to tell you, Habib Tariq, for your dad, next time you call upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can call upon us, inshallah, we'll go to him and testify to him you're not a scrub. No worries, Habib, inshallah. Barakallah feek, inshallah. This is really beautiful. It's beautiful to witness our children. And I want to say, inshallah, before we make dua, because Allah hears us and sees us, to remember, first of all, the magnitude of Allah's love for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right now, the magnitude of the love of the angels for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of the trees and the rocks even, of the oceans and the celestial bodies and the cosmos. Everything loves Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I also want you to think of not only his presence, but his love for his ummah. and he, and you and I, those who say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, all of creation, that he himself sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he died, please remember this. He said, "Ishtaqtu li ikhwani." He was tearing when he went to visit the graveyard of those who lost their lives in the battle of Uhud. Cried. And he was tired, and he was fatigued, and he was exhausted, and he was ill. And on his way back, he said, "I miss my brothers and his sisters." And the companion said to him, "Oh Prophet of Allah, we're here around you." He said, No, I don't mean you. You're companions. He said, "Who are your brothers?" He said, "Those who come after me, believing in me, even though they never saw me." Can you imagine he's thinking about you and I today and waiting for us? And he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before his death, "I'll meet you at my house. I'll meet you at the pool. I'll meet you." He's looking forward to it. He's looking forward to hugging you and I. Are we looking forward to hugging the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And if I ask you the greatest moments in our existence, what is that moment that will come even close to the moment when the one that you heard about today, the one that we've learned about, the one we read about in the Quran, finally locks eyes with you and looks at you with a smile, and he hugs you and he greets you? What is there like that moment, brothers and sisters? That's what we look forward to. The Prophet ﷺ himself is looking forward to it, and he says, "I'll meet you there." He says, "I'll come out of earth. I'll be the first to come out of this earth, and I'll be the first to intercede." We look forward to his shafa'ah. He will not rest until each and every believer is in Jannah. He will not rest. His mission is not over. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he'll be putting his head down on the day of judgment, doing prostration, doing sujood, praising Allah, saying, "Ummati, ummati, ma umma." You and I. He cries out to Allah, "Please put them in Jannah." That's a shafa'ah Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah gave it to him out of love for him and out of love for all of us. What a gift, dear brothers and sisters. It is he who will walk us into Jannah. It is he who's looking forward to, when he stands at the pulpit next to his pool saying, "Come by name, come," and he'll know you by name. He'll know you because you remembered him on this earth. That's what we look forward to. So let us raise our hands with these reflections and these memories on this earth, because life is short. Asking Allah, who is present, who hears us and sees us, and our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam is present, hearing us and seeing us, witnessing all of this, asking, beseeching Allah Azza wa Jalla. Ya Allah, you are the most merciful. You are the most beneficent, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you are the one who sent us Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are so, Ya Allah, generous. We ask Allah, beseech Ya Allah, that you send your peace and prayers upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Ya Allah, grant us his shafa'ah, Ya Allah. Grant us his intercession, Ya Allah. Grant us, Ya Allah, from his beloved, dear, honorable hand, a drink, Ya Allah, a drink after which we'll never, Ya Allah, be thirsty on the day of judgment, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us his sight, Ya Allah. Fill our hearts with your love and the love of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fill the hearts of our children with his love, Ya Allah. Fill the hearts of our children with adoration for you and adoration for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Allah. Make our children and make all of us walk in his footsteps. And remember him, Ya Allah, in every moment of trouble in our lives. Whenever we're confused, Ya Allah, whenever we're searching, that we remember you. And remember our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bless this masjid, Ya Allah. Bless this community, Ya Allah. Bless the ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we've sent our salawat upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Through those salawat, Ya Allah, that you heard, that you opened our hearts to mention and say, Ya Allah, heal our hearts, Ya Allah. Through these salawat, Ya Allah, answer all of our du'as, Ya Allah. Through our love for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you have blessed us with, grant us his companionship, Ya Allah, because you are the one who promised that. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Barakallahu feekum, brothers and sisters. Please continue to support this center. Continue to support our children, our Sunday school, our program, our services. We thank Allah. We thank the teachers and the admins who worked so hard to, inshallah, present to us our beautiful children today. Barakallahu feekum, inshallah. We look forward to seeing you in the future events, inshallah. I guess we have something, inshallah, in the kitchen. After where? After Isha, inshallah. So hang, inshallah, after Salat al-Isha. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Imam Tariq. Just a quick reminder again that we'll pray Isha prayers followed by dinner in the cafe and kids meet in the basement. On behalf of the ICCP, I thank you all for coming and for appreciating and encouraging the efforts of our children in celebrating the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
I just wanted to quickly also mention next Saturday, 5:30 p.m. in Sterling, Adams Sterling. Alhamdulillah, there's going to be a remembrance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gathering. And it's the first time Adams is doing something like this, alhamdulillah. So we are excited and inviting all of you to come to Adams Center, Adams Center Sterling, next Saturday, 5:30, inshallah. There will be food and Mawlid and dhikr and nasheed, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.